There is one feature in Mario Kart World that I feel like went over everyone's heads, because after the Direct, I really didn't hear much of anyone talking about it. And in fact, I myself wasn't too crazy about it either, because I didn't really care about this function. I never thought I'd actually need it. I thought it was probably for newcomers or people who just literally wasn't good at Mario Kart. And that is the rewind feature. Now, a lot of people were confused by this one. I definitely know I was, because I was like, okay, why in the world would you choose to rewind in a race with your friends or online? I feel like that's just stupid, and I feel like you could also avoid certain things that are coming towards you, like blue shells. It would just kind of mess up the race. How does this work? And then I was told that there was actually fine print. Like, who's supposed to see that in the middle of the show live? So with it only being a function in free roam and solo races, I really just dismissed it and didn't think much of it after that, until I started really thinking about this. Now, maybe I'm about to sound like a crazy person, but I feel like this is about to be the biggest feature for Mario Kart World, and probably one of the biggest features Mario Kart has ever added, because there are a lot of competitive Mario Kart players. I went to one tournament last year, and oh my gosh, I didn't know people played like that. It's actually very, very competitive, and you know, a lot of people might want to get super competitive for Mario Kart World. I know I do. I definitely want to try to get really, really good at this game. And what better way is there to get better by just practicing and using that rewind function to correct your mistakes? Imagine just playing time trials and practicing on each track, trying to find the best path, taking one path and saying, okay, what would happen if I took another path, or how long would it take if I did this, and just kind of going back and seeing the different options that you have, especially when there's tracks with multiple different branching paths or shortcuts that you can take. And also, if you just pass a shortcut and miss one, you can actually back up and see that shortcut now and see exactly what you missed and how you could have hit it differently. This will make all the difference for people just simply trying to get better, because time trials was also a good way to get better. You get to race your ghosts and see how to improve your time and what makes you go faster each time you race. And I feel like a game with as many tricks and flips that this game has, you are really going to want to utilize this rewind feature, which puts you back in time and allows you to do a different trick or maybe perform a different stunt to see exactly how that would help you. And maybe I'm still not convincing you. Maybe you still think this is a useless feature and you'll never use it. Well, let me actually show you some actual gameplay of some of these tracks and how it could be used in a great way. Let's say you're playing Wario Stadium and you accidentally take the bottom path here on the left side of the screen. Instead, you want to rewind and say, hey, I saw a top part that I can actually ride on the wall. Then try that path and see how it changes your race. You jump off the final ramp at Toad's factory, but realize, dang it, you could have actually landed on those giant metal beams held by the cranes on each side. But even then, maybe you jumped on the left one, but you weren't able to reach the right one. So then you rewind once again to try it again to make it an even better improvement for you. Then go to Golden Block Ruins and you pass what looks like it could have been a shortcut through some boxes, and you'll notice that it was because you can see a rail system standing out behind the gold bricks. So you rewind and now you hit that shortcut, if you have a mushroom at least, and see exactly how that would change your path. I mean, I don't even know if you can rewind and grab an item yet, because that would be pretty cool. Maybe rewinding and it'll give you some type of mushroom item that you can then use to practice on that shortcut. A few minutes later, you come to this section and drop down, but then you realize, shoot, there was a wall that I could have rode up there, so you rewind and try that alternate path. Even this later section of this track where there's like a 3-lane branch off where you can choose a left, right, or middle path, and maybe you want to rewind and try a different path each time just to practice them all. So now you see why this mechanic would be so important. It's a pretty big deal. As important as it is for learning the basic tracks in this game, you could also use it for the intermission tracks as well. The intermission tracks might have seemed straight and slow from what we've seen with the gameplay of the treehouse so far, but they're going on a very low CC, and also they hardly took any of the shortcuts that I've noticed on the roadways. Odds are, some of you right now probably didn't even notice something about this clip. Yes, this is the branching path up here. You can choose the left side or the right side. This is something that's easily missable if you're just skimming over the treehouse gameplay, so you could rewind and try a different path. Here's a path that has a bridge, and you can actually see wires up on the side of the bridge that you can actually grind rail on, maybe for a little extra boost where you can go slightly faster. But it goes well beyond racing as well, because this is going to be an awesome feature for the free roam mode. Maybe you just want to mess around and see what happens if you go explore a certain region or do a certain trick off of a cliff and just dive off of something, but then you can say, okay, that wasn't as cool as I thought it was, or hey, I don't want to be all the way down here, I'm going to go back up there. I just wanted to jump off this cliff real quick, and then you rewind to go back on top of the cliff and turn around and go in a different direction. Maybe you're doing a P-switch mission where you're racing around and you have blue coins that you need to collect, and you did really well until the very end where you slightly missed one. You can actually back up real quick if you have enough time to collect one. I doubt you'll always have enough time. It'll kind of ruin the point of the mission. But if you did really well all the way up until like one little mistake you made at the very end, you might have a little bit of time to rewind real quick and grab a coin that you missed. The same thing goes if you're driving around and boosting too fast and seeing that you passed a coin or some type of object. You can actually rewind and go back and pick up that coin or something that you've seen out of the corner of your eye, in case you're just kind of like dashing through the world using mushrooms as fast as possible, just trying to look for collectibles. And then if you actually collect the collectible, you could say, okay, I got this one, now let's go back and get the other one that I saw, like this P-switch that was off to the right. Maybe I'm overhyping and making a big deal out of something that's really not that big of a deal, but we're just gonna have to wait and see when this game launches how important that rewind function is actually going to be, because it looks pretty neat. But let me know in the comments down below if you're excited for this weird mechanic as much as I am. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, have a blessed day, and I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.